Okay, we're live on YouTube. Fantastic. And we're live on Facebook. Wonderful. Everything is working. I love it when everything works. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us this evening. My name is Andy Saldana, and I'm the Executive Director of New York Tech Alliance. We have a fantastic program set for you tonight, and an amazing program of amazing Black women founders creating phenomenal technology. So we're going to get right to the demos in just a few minutes, but before we begin, of course, I have a couple of announcements to make, and just want to say again, thank you so much for joining us this evening. Definitely share out the link so that to all of your friends and family, have them join, watch, support. It's always a great here at the New York Tech Meetup. To begin with, again, just a quick privacy statement. We do photograph and record this event. The recordings are used for future promotions, and we post it to our YouTube channels and our social media. So if you do not want to be on camera, make sure that you don't have a photo in your profile. And if you ask a question live, just make sure your camera is off. Tonight's agenda. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about New York Tech Alliance, say a few thank yous. Then we're going to go to our live demos. Then we get to the community ask and offer phase, and then I'm just quickly to go over some ground rules. So about New York Tech Alliance. New York Tech Alliance is a nonprofit organization working to driving access, equity, and inclusion in the New York tech community to make it the most diverse and dynamic in the world. We want to see the tech ecosystem here in New York be reflective of the city itself. So we work to connect people to resources, other organizations, promote, and and just connect as many people as possible. I'm a little flustered because, of course, I'm always at the last minute making sure that everything is up and running. Apologize. A quick thank you to all of our wonderful annual partners, everybody from Xander, CUNY, Eisner, Work Better, Nation Builder, NYIT, Propeller, Witham, Crown Castle, EY, Google, Grasshopper, Paul Ellis, Verizon, Sabity, and the CEO's Right Hand. All of these brands support the New York tech ecosystem. They do great work within the ecosystem. And if you ever need to learn more about them, please reach out. I'm always happy to connect you to our partners. They're always happy to offer office hours, free consultations, whatever you need to support your business. They're here to help you. Be sure to check them all out on our website as well. And then if you are planning a tech event of any kind, I encourage you to submit those events to our event calendar. We have a free community calendar that's open up for anybody to submit their tech events. We pick a few of those events every other week to go out in our newsletter. And so it's a great place to promote your event. And then, like I said, we have a really wonderful program tonight. We have a guest host tonight, so as soon as I turn it over to her, I'm appearing, but we have the wonderful Georgie Ann Get-McCoy. She's the founder of GSD with Georgie. And she's just a phenomenal human being, a great connector, a powerhouse in the New York tech ecosystem. And, it was such an honor to collaborate on this event and bring this all to you live. The demos that we have tonight range in everything from marketing to politics and voting to education tech, support for counselors, social networks, and then coaching, tapping. So it's all really, really phenomenal, varied group of demoers, all fantastic women, and I'm really excited. I've gotten to connect with them briefly over the last couple of weeks and learn more about their products, and it's just, I'm always amazed. It's my favorite part of my job is getting to interact with the founders and hearing about all the amazing things that people are making. There is one question that if you've never been to a New York Tech Meetup before, there's one question during the Q&A that we don't really allow. And if you've been to a live event, you know that question is, what's your business model? Here at the New York Tech Meetup, we really try to focus on the technology and the product itself. We steer away from business model conversations during the demos. I do encourage you to connect with the founders after the event in the networking piece and the amazing AirMeet networking lounge. questions if you have them. I'm sure they're more than happy to discuss their business models and discuss revenues, but during the actual event, we ask that you avoid that question. And then our ask and offers. So this is an opportunity for you, the viewer, anybody in the audience, if you have an ask that you need from the community or an offer that you'd like to offer up to the community, we will we'll ask that you raise your hand in the AirMeet platform or let us know in the chat on YouTube, and we will give you the stage for about 30 seconds at the end of the event to make that ask to the audience. And then just quickly, a few ground rules. We ask that you please use the Q&A area of AirMeet or YouTube Live. If you have any questions for the founders, I'll be monitoring those, the chat, the questions, the chat in both places, and I'll let Georgie know when those questions come in. I also ask that you take a moment and be present here with us this evening to watch these demos. Again, all of these women have created such amazing products, and we really do appreciate you giving us your time tonight. And then lastly, just please be respectful. Try to be as inclusive, open, and welcoming as possible. And we ask that you just respect the space and the demoer's time. Quickly, we have a number of amazing events coming up. First up is next Friday, November the 20th. It's a M&A session with our favorite Paul Ellis, talking about mergers and acquisitions during this time of COVID. So if you run a startup or you're a founder and you're thinking about how do I think about exiting at this time, it's a really fantastic panel to tune into. Wednesday, December the 2nd at noon, we are going to have Regina Gwynn, who's the founder of Trust Noir and one of the co-founders of Black Women Talk Tech, for our Founder Spotlight series with Grasshopper Bank. Those conversations are always fantastic, and I encourage you to check them out. And then on Tuesday, December 8th, we'll ask that you meet us right back here for our December Meetup. It's a women's demo night, so we'll be celebrating women founders yet again to end 2020. What a year, right? And I'm so excited. It's one of my favorite events that we do every month. We look forward to a fantastic lineup of really great demoers. We're looking for demoers right now, so if you are a female founder and you have a great product, please reach out to me during the networking piece as well. There's 3 ways that you can support New York Tech Alliance and all that we do. The first is to add a donation when you RSVP to one of our events. The second is to become an individual or a corporate member of New York Tech Alliance. And then the third is just simply to make a small donation. You can support us at nytech.org/support_NYTA. And we appreciate any amount. It definitely helps us do the work that we do. And then this is one of the bigger announcements that I've made on New York Tech Meetup in a while. We are launching a Tech Volunteer Corps. So we need your help. We need volunteers. Basically, what we're doing is we are amassing all of the amazing tech volunteers that exist within the tech ecosystem, leveraging their expertise to help local nonprofits and small businesses that have suffered due to COVID solve their tech issues. We're doing this in partnership with the Sloan Foundation, the Alfred P. Sloan Foundation, and Civic Hall. And we're launching this initiative later this week. So we definitely invite you to check it out on our website, nytech.org, and sign up to be a volunteer. If you know a nonprofit that needs some tech help, we'll be assessing projects between now and the end of the year, putting together teams to work on those projects, and then going ahead in 2021. So this is definitely an opportunity to give back to the communities, support nonprofits outside of tech, support local New York nonprofits that need help in light of COVID, and feel good about doing good and putting those tech skills to use. So again, I definitely encourage you to learn more on our website at nytech.org. And please be sure to sign up. If you have any questions, please connect with me after the event, and I'll be around to answer them for you. Okay, and with that, we're going to get right to our program. I am going to invite Georgie up to the stage. One moment, just a few buttons I need to click, and then she will join us. And while I'm waiting for her to join us on stage, I know Georgie. Hi, how are you?
I'm doing well. How's it going? Thank you, Andy.
Of course, of course. Thank you so much for being a part of this program and bringing this idea to us, helping us pull it off. Always being an amazing connector and advocate within the tech industry, and such a star member of the New York Tech Alliance. It's always great to do work with you. Georgie, I'm going to go ahead and put up a slide that we always use about you, and if this works, I'll let you take it from there. And I know that you have a couple of other announcements. Do you want to share your screen, or should I?
Yeah, if you have, did you have them up? Did you have any information, just like their logos?
No, I forgot.
About them, and I'll leave it inside of the caption, and I also have a few bit links. So hi everyone, thank you so much for being here at the November New York Tech Meetup, and it's almost 6 years to the month when I first started going to the New York Tech Meetup back in 2014. I could have never imagined to be here right now, just being more a part of it, being a part of the Tech Alliance, the Roundtable, doing so many different activities to help the meetup grow and just help build a stronger tech ecosystem and a more inclusive tech ecosystem in the New York City area. So as Andy mentioned, my name is Georgie McCoy, and I like to go by the execution strategist because I'm all about GSD, getting stuff done and being productive. And I also run a consultancy focused on virtual event production as well as business development, specifically in the area of digital strategy. So we help you build out your digital events, products, and services. So that's the core of my work, and I've partnered with, run a lot of different boot camps, accelerators, inclusive and diversity and inclusive initiatives such as Caribbeans in Tech, Black Podcasting Awards, and much more. And I'm an author, a mom, serial entrepreneur, community builder, so many things. But tonight I'm here representing Black female founders. And I just want to big shout out to, now we have a vice president-elect who is also a woman, as well as someone that identifies as Black. So, this year has been a crazy one, but to see one of the most powerful offices holding someone that looks like me is so powerful. When I read the Face of a Founder report by Black Women Talk Tech, I was so inspired by them that I had to reach out to Andy. So this month of Black Women Talk Tech, they are producing a summit called the Face of a Founder Summit, and my agency, GSD Solutions, we're helping to run that virtual event. But the Founder Summit is going to be a half-a-day summit happening on November 17th from 3 to 7 p.m. And it's a half-a-day fundraising summit for Black female founders to learn what it takes to get investment from POC funds and receive mentorship from organizations such as Citi, Microsoft, and Goldman, and many, many more. So if you want to check out that, you could simply go to bit.ly/FOF Summit 2020, and inside of the descriptions post event, Andy will be sharing the link as well as the newsletter. It came out in the New York Tech Meetup newsletter today, so definitely check that out. Happening next week, Tuesday. This time next week it will be happening, and then a second event happening next week, Wednesday, is the Céant office hours for Black female founders. And that office hours is essentially matching Black female founders with accelerator operators, investors, mentors from the tech and startup ecosystem to entrepreneurs that want to get one-on-one mentorship with these accelerator programs and incubator. Oftentimes, Black female founders or just underrepresented and underserved founders get overlooked by a lot of these different programs. So we at Céant created this office hour specifically to cater to that need of getting that mentorship, getting those connections, building your network so that way you are more eligible to get inside of these programs. So every single program that I just mentioned is 100% free. And you could check that out as well at bit.ly/GSD Sella, November, NOV. So again, all these links will be available post event, and you could just head on over to my website, gsdwithgeorgie.com, and they're also listed there. But without any further ado, that's all my announcements that I have. I'm super excited. Check out the Face of the Founder report, because Black women, female founders are I said female twice. Black female founders are, an under-tapped group, and we have some amazing demoers tonight that are going to blow you away with what they're building, what they're innovating with. And we are definitely an untapped group that has so many ideas, building so many different startups, and the Face of a Founder report by Black Women Talk Tech really dives into that on this untapped market that's going by, and VCs, investors, mentors, accelerators really need to start looking more at Black female founders as the future of technology.
Yeah, quickly, Georgie, on that point, I was just putting together a talk around representation in the tech industry. And, the statistics I was finding for all of the underrepresented groups are just abysmal. It was like less than 1% of funding goes to Black women founders. Less than 1% go to LGBTQ plus founders. Only 2.6% go to Black and Latinx founders. So it's just, we need to do better, and, representation definitely matters. So thank you so much for sharing all of these events. I'm going to disappear now again and let you take over the rest of the event. I just had to put my 2 cents in on that topic. Thank you again.
Yeah, and those 2 cents are very much appreciated, because, it's one thing to say this to an audience, but it's another thing to come with the facts. There are so many reports from, the American Express, Women in Business report, Advancing Black Pathway report by JP Morgan, and these are banks, the folks that are giving money. It's very important that we tap into this market, because so many founders could, again, be the next $1 billion startup, and we might have one tonight. So I would love to welcome to the stage Urbanite, with the founder, who is IV2, and she's going to tell us all about what she is building. So welcome to the stage, Ivy.
Hello. Hi.
Awesome. Welcome. So again, Ivy, you have 5 minutes to share with us your startup. You could share your screen, demo to us, and I will come off the camera and the mic, and I'll pop back on later.
Can you see this?
Yes, we can.
Perfect. So hi, everyone. My name is IV2, and I'm so happy to be here to present Urbanite to you today. Simply put, Urbanite is an app where Meetup meets Bumble BFF. Just put yourself in the shoes of someone who is just graduating university, and they're moving to a new city and to start their very first full-time job, and they're thinking, oh my God, I'm super excited to get involved into this new lifestyle and this new transitional period. However, as they begin their journey, they realize that discovering events gets really overwhelming, especially if you're in a city like New York City. There's so much happening, and it's super hard to vet these different events that are happening around you. Also, if you do want to meet people, it's really hard to coordinate busy schedules. You might get lunch with someone 1 month and you won't see them for another 3, and that's a huge dilemma. And then also, if you have existing friends in this new city, they might not be always interested in trying something new. And when you're going to someplace new, you should want to feel open and ready to try all of your interests and really just explore who you are. So our solution is to create an app to help newcomers in the city really just explore their interests and make meaningful connections by combining the online experience with the in-person interaction. So to the right, I have some tweets that I just found from people talking about New York City and being alone, and it just shouldn't be an issue. It shouldn't be a problem. So that's why Urbanite is really coming to this solution. So how it works, rather than talk you through it, I'm going to demo it to you. Let me just present this here. So here is the Urbanite. So our 3 main pillars are to really explore your interests, meet people, and stay connected. So as we log in, we're Jessica Lance today. Jessica Lance, she's really interested in fashion and music and whatnot. So when she goes onto her site, she can choose what type of connection she wants. So you can see she chose friends, dating, and networking. That's the main thing with Urbanite, is that we're here to connect people to each other, but you can choose what type of connection you want to make with one another. And as you can see, since she's new, she hasn't RSVP'd to any events yet. So we'll see what upcoming events she has available. So for her, she's interested in fashion. So these are all filtered for fashion, film, and art. You can also see what friends are attending and just other information. So we'll check out more. So this is the events page, and something that's really important is really having a full transparency to all the details of the event, including who the host is, like details, what the vibe is. That could be anything from what the venue looks like to what the theme is there a dress code, anything that can give you as much information as possible. And then you can also see like what attendees are there. However, and once you RSVP, you come back to be able to connect with the attendees. Basically, the main point is that you are connecting in an intimate experience, meaning you can only connect with the people who you've been to an event with. So this is what this would look like. You click to connect, and you can see this is Ellen Jacobs, what her interests are. And unlike Jessica, who is interested in friends, dating, and network, Ellen is only interested in friends and networking. So we'll connect with her. And once you connect, you can see all of her past events, anything that she's been tagged in, as well as other interests that she may have, and what she's been RSVPing to. So how you stay connected is you go onto the feed, you can see where Ellen has RSVP'd to a boutique launch, or the last host that you're following is doing a thrift shop and donate, and you can see also photos here. And then lastly, like on this drop-down menu, you can see everyone who you're following between like hosts and brands. Connections are everyone who you've connected with. And then networking is interesting because it's everyone who you've ever been to an event with. Again, like really encouraging that like intimate experience. You're only connecting with people who you've had that like relation with. And then also groups, there's like different groups if you've signed up with them. So back to the slides. So the go-to-market strategy right now is we're currently building a brand. However, we started building with a fashion community with virtual events and a forum. However, we'll be pivoting because the forum isn't fully like aligned with our overall process. However, continuing with the fashion virtual events. So we're going to be pivoting to test the flow with existing communities, ideally like colleges, because I know myself, I just graduated university, and I remember just being like having so many events that I could go to, but there was no streamlined way or process to really look at them. And then also just like encouraging the social experience while you're in school, and like you're making sure that everyone's having like a great time, but also like exploring themselves and keeping those connections that they've made. And then also eventually one day when we can have in-person events again, we'll be abiding by CDC guidelines and whatever is necessary. The vision here is really to just enrich the lives of people worldwide through meaningful connection. What that means is just bringing people together and making sure there's no barriers for people to really just explore their interests. So what I'm looking for is advisors and mentors with experience in partnerships and the events industry, and most importantly, a technical with experience in social networking apps. Also looking for pilot funding of 100 to 150K to really help bring on like a software engineer and maximize marketing opportunities, as well as other things. And then partners in businesses located in New York City. And then thank you so much everyone for listening to me. My contact information is ivy@urbanite.com. You can also check out our website.
Thank you so much, Ivy. That was a great presentation. And as a person that has used Bumble Biz and Bumble BFF in the past, I definitely see the importance of a platform like this. While we wait for some folks to put some questions in the chat, I had a personal question. How do you see this differentiated from, Bumble Biz and all of these other platforms? Is it because we're going somewhere together? Could you talk to me a little bit about that, like overall experience?
Mm-hmm. So the experience really is different because you have to go to these events in order to meet people. So you're not just like sitting on your couch like swiping through. You have to actively put yourself out there, and then you'll meet others along the way.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And we have an audience question. Is the app only available to NYC members?
No, so that's just where I am basing it, because that's where I went to college and where I will eventually be returning. So that's just like the first location, but eventually will be expanded to many other cities and locations.
Awesome. And I have another question, because again, totally person here, and networking is so important. So how have you thought about the new world that we're in right now with the virtual events? Is there something in the pipeline to include maybe like in-app event experience, or are you trying to like link out for folks to go to the app, go to the event on a different space?
Mm-hmm. I think personally that events on the app would be really great, but I think this app could be used like any way. So as long as people are going to this event and they're able to just match with others. So this is kind of just like a tool for, I'd say, for event organizers too, to really keep the event going afterwards and like really help brands like build a community for these events that they're starting. Because pre-COVID, there were so many experiential events, but like they were just ending. But this could be an app for people to continue the conversations, continue like meeting each other, and like also following those brands to stay in touch.
Absolutely, because networking is one thing, but building a relationship definitely does take, as you said, like a lot more connectivity and a lot more interaction.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much for being here with us tonight, Ivy. If anyone else has any other questions, please feel free to do so in the chat. Ivy will be hanging out. Actually, I think we have one question real quick before we call it the next speaker. John says, really great idea. The user interface is really nice. Did you design and develop the app yourself?
Yes. Yeah, I did all of that. Adobe XD. Actually, I did that new design yesterday. I had this basic outline, a different one beforehand. This is the new version.
Awesome. Thank you so much again, Ivy.
Yes.
Awesome. So up next, we have Colette Ellis, who's the founder of Libbie. And she's going to be telling us all about Libbie and tapping. If you guys have never heard of tapping before, you will be blown away by this presentation. So I'll give it a moment for Andy to put Colette up on the stage. But I also wanted to make a quick comment in regards to building the app on your own in the face of a founder report. And again, I'm going to keep on repeating this report because I felt seen when I read this report. It talks about the fact that the majority of Black female founders, as well as female founders in general, usually bootstrap their ideas. They're using funds from their business, from their job. They're using funds from family and friends, but primarily they're bootstrapping, building everything themselves, using mock-up templates, using designs, and then it's further down the line that they get like the full tech support. They have a full team, so they are very much familiar with the bootstrapping process. And I'm pretty sure Colette, and I remember Colette doing this as well. So this is a great segue. So Colette, I'm gonna let you have the stage to give us your introduction and your 5 minutes to tell us all about Libbie.
Thank you, Georgie. And yes, and absolutely bootstrapping. And I'm so excited to be here with you all this evening. And I'm going to begin to share my screen so that I can. Are we all seeing this?
Yes, I have it up. If everyone in the chat could just give a thumbs up or just some claps so we can know if you have the screen. Awesome.
All right. Thank you. So, hello, everyone. I am Coach Colette, and I am excited to introduce you to Libbie. We are disrupting the $5 billion global behavioral health market with this user-friendly mobile chatbot that is designed to provide relief from anxiety. And how I thought of this idea when we think about 2020 and what's been happening in the world, and the fact that there are so many women of color who have been living in a state of fear and anxiety, and people of color in general. And so when I thought of how can we support and provide a mental health solution that can be scalable. And so I want to introduce you to Libbie. And Libbie is an accessible, culturally responsible, evidence-based solution that is based on emotional freedom technique or tapping. And so what I'm going to actually do now is switch over. Hopefully this platform will allow me to do this. Bear with me for just a second. There we go. All right, so I'm going to allow you to meet Libbie yourself.
Hi, I'm Libbie. What's your name? Colette. Thanks for checking in, Colette. Would you like to do some tapping today? Yes. Great. What would you like to tap about? Well, I'd like to tap about what's going on with work. I struggle with being real about how I'm feeling. I don't know who I can trust, who really has my back. I feel like I have to be perfect all of the time.
Thanks for sharing what's been going on with you. Can you tell me how you're feeling about all of that?
So I will choose, I'm feeling anxious.
I'm feeling anxious.
Okay, I want to help you release some of that anxiety. Let's do some tapping. I'm going to show you how to tap on the under eye point to relieve anxiety and fear. Using your fingertips, tap under your eyes, right where you feel the bone of your eye sockets. And say, I tap to release anxiety.
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 Now, take a deep breath in and release.
So that is a demonstration of Libbie. So for those of you that are not familiar with, emotional freedom technique, relief is always just a tap away. So you are tapping on meridian points as you are voicing your issue. And so the thought process is Libbie would be accessible on your phone, and you'd be able to tap with Libbie for a quick hit of healing like we just did, or going through a full round of tapping. We are currently building this out on Bot Society and looking to expand so that we can create our first interactive pilot. So we are looking for angel investors in this pre-seed round, and I'm excited to continue to build Libbie to support more women of color, to provide them with relief, support that is culturally competent, intuitive, and effective. Thank you.
Oh, that was my little timer. Right on time. Awesome. I think this question that I don't know if this first question that came in was for Ivy, but it says how much is a monthly service? I think that's for Ivy. But for you, Colette, they said, just curious if you're concerned about confusion with the Libbie app, which is a popular library book app.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, so we are thinking that it will be something like Tap with Libbie to be able to differentiate that we are focusing on tapping. Although, who knows, maybe we can collaborate and have tap through your library books.
Yeah, absolutely. And I have a question for you. Is what made you come across this? Like, what inspired you to focus on tapping? Because, we see a lot of different mental health focused apps. There's Headspace, there's Calm, there's, so many different ones. And so, we know about the meditation and the yoga. So what wanted you to align with like tapping, this whole new thing that a lot of people probably did not hear about before today?
Absolutely. So, one of the reasons is differentiation, right? So looking at being able to create a product and a solution that is different and still complementary to meditation, to yoga, to breath work, to Reiki. I also am an EFT tapping practitioner. So the idea came to me as to when I found out that even people that are familiar with tapping sometimes don't do it either in between sessions. And so that was when the idea generated, is there a way to use technology that can support people to continue tapping? And so that was last spring. And then, like I said, 2020 happened and George Floyd and Breonna Taylor. And that's when I really decided to pivot to create this as a product to support women of color.
Thank you very much for sharing that. We have a comment. My therapist introduced me to this form, so awesome, Doreen. And we have a question from Chantel. How will you measure the success of the therapy? Are there any additional ways to ensure the users are tapping correctly?
Absolutely. Thank you for those questions. So when you do tapping, usually you do it on a scale of 0 to 10. So if I was doing this session with you, I would say, what are your feelings on a scale of 0 to 10? And we would look to see how that intensity decreases over time. So that A is something that we can replicate within Libbie. And then also, right, we're going to be looking at all of the usual app things in terms of time spent in app and how often do people use Libbie? Are you tapping with Libbie on a regular basis, so that we can start to see what that traction looks like.
Awesome. Thank you. And I just, my brain, I've seen a lot of like AI and maybe even including like AI and virtual reality, augmented reality, where maybe it's like a video and it's like showing you, like highlighting over your face, that we have all these filters and facial things. We have one last question. It's, how come you named it Libbie?
Very great question. Yeah, so it is intentional. So if you heard me mention, it's emotional freedom technique, which is what EFT stands for. And so when I was thinking about freedom, so if you think of all of the ways that freedom, liberty translates into different languages, and that's how I came up with Libbie.
Awesome. That is a really amazing origin story for a name. Thank you so much for being here with us tonight, Colette. Everyone check out Libbie, be a beta tester, make introductions for Colette, tap to relieve your anxiety. Yes, tap to relieve your anxiety. Thank you again very much. Up next, we have Wen-kuni from Politicking. So we just finished a crazy election, y'all. And Politicking is a platform that talks about getting people not only voting, but registered to vote and making these transactions, because voting is not just a 4-year thing. It's an every year thing. So we're going to have Wen-kuni come up and talk to us about the importance of being a part of the democracy and making sure that your voice is heard through participating.
Hi, Georgie. Thank you so much for that wonderful introduction. And Colette, hard act to follow. I'm definitely tapping because my anxiety was through the roof last week. So I've never needed Libbie more. Personally, I think all founders probably need Libbie. So thank you so much for that, Colette. And as Georgie mentioned, I'm the CEO and co-founder of Politicking. Politicking is a social political mobile platform that really allows users to get to know their elected officials and people that are running for office on a local, state, and federal level. And so we do that through a variety of ways. We also help demystify amendments and referendums. And as you guys know, there was a lot going on in this political cycle, and it's hard to navigate, especially for Black and Brown people. I think political literacy is something that's not touched upon enough. And so with Politicking, we really try to demystify that process. So I want to show you guys 2 quick videos. I'm going to share the screen. Hopefully this works well. Let's see. Share. All right. Can you guys see the screen okay?
Yes, I can see the screen. Awesome.
All right. So I'm going to walk you guys through Politicking and just talk to you guys about it. All right. So to begin, when you download Politicking, this is what you'll see. You'll be able to kind of go through the registration process, and the easiest way to do that is through putting in the information that you see here. The most pivotal piece of information is really your home address. And then the rest of these are things that are different districts. We realize, to go back just a little bit, what state Senate district they're in or what state house district they're in, and we want to provide that information to them. And so the easiest way to do that is by providing your address. So you put that information in, then you'd have a virtual
shared screen. I'm not seeing your shared screen anymore.
You're not?
No. Is anyone else? If we could get if you are seeing the screen, can we get some claps? Okay, I can't see it. All right, if we could try to share it again.
All right, let me try to share it again. No problem.
Awesome.
Can you guys see it now?
Yes, you are back up, and if it comes off again, I'll just pop back on the audio again.
Okay, thank you. So that was the virtual voter ID card. That's the first thing you see. The second is, like I was saying, we also give information about current events. So this is under the education tab. This will show you whatever's going on in the news about education. So this is on TechCrunch. It's showing you about an educational startup. And so we try to really diversify what people are seeing. There's environment, there's national security. Here's one on the environment. So really, these are 8 major areas that we know that people are interested in learning about and that are important to them politically. And so that will show you a little bit of information. We source from the New York Times, basically all the top news sources. You'll be able to procure your information here. This is kind of the piece of resistance of the app. Essentially, based on your address, we're actually able to populate all the elected officials that are currently representing you in office. So I'm from Miramar, Florida. So as you see the screen go down, these are all the elected officials that are in South Florida. It shows you the senator, my congressperson, my state senator, chief financial officer. We often understand that people don't know the names or platforms of these people. And so with us, we're trying to ensure that they do have that information. And so they're able to navigate that through the application. We also show information about amendments and referendums, as I pointed out, what a vote yes means, what a vote no means, and the actual legalese jargon that's going to appear on the ballot. We break that down. We help you to find your local polling precinct. So as you can see, you put in your information. We're able to help navigate you to where you are, as well as information about the elected officials you'll vote for. And this is the general information section. So we know a lot of people may not have had a class since 5th grade. So we'll give you information about voter suppression, felony disenfranchisement, general information that people just may not be as familiar with. A voter checklist, so you can figure out if you need to change your address, if you've recently moved, how that implicates your ballot. We can even take you through the process of registering to vote. And so for anyone here from Georgia, you still can register to vote because you have a very important runoff coming up in 2021. So these are the valid forms of voter ID that you can actually bring to your polling precincts. And so that's important to know because a lot of people are turned away incorrectly because they may not have their voter ID cards on them, etc. And so this is just the general informational segment. And that's pretty much the conclusion of the app and kind of what it does. And I have another part to show you guys rather quickly. And this is just to show you guys that politicking is more than an application. We're also a social and political, cultural platform. And so I'll show you guys this quickly.
I look fly. You know, no disrespect. I'm surrounded by 2 beautiful black women. That's right. Talking intelligent. I got a drink, a joint. I'm chilling. Who doesn't want to be here right now? This has to be the new normal. Yeah. This is the new cool. Understanding what's needed, going and talking to the right people.
Because we are a larger supporting bloc of this party, they should do everything in their power to please us.
How you doing today? Thank you for joining Politicking. My name is Jordan Wilson. This is Wen-kuni Céant.
Bringing attention to it and having a senator or a congressman pass a law to help your people.
Do you feel like colleges and universities should be free?
It's slavery. That's one. One that had any influence or swag.
Go out and march, but we don't match that with anything. When Dr. King went out and marched, he says, we're not going to get on your bus, so you're going to feel me economically.
You do that off, and you know he's bipolar. So
people understand that this election is probably the most important election in our generation.
Pass on those principles of autonomy, of business ownership.
If you want to see who General Love is, you ain't got to look no further than your local school.
Been empowering the creatives from our culture.
So can you guys hear me? I'm back now. So I wanted to show you guys both of those to show you the juxtaposition. I think a lot of people don't understand the intersection of culture and politics. And at Politicking, we represent both of those entities. And we know that they have to be intertwined, particularly to ensure that the younger demographic is engaged and involved. So I'm here for any questions, comments. Would love to hear back from you guys. I know we're coming off of a tumultuous cycle, so I know you guys have feedback.
Yeah, thank you so much, Wen-kuni. And I think, you hit the nail on the head. We all saw the news, the news that became social media as well, about the fact of how important it was to get out Black voters, African American voters specifically for this election, and like a lot of the work that Stacey Abrams was doing in Georgia. I'm actually registered to vote in Georgia, so it's like a whole interesting thing going on there. And I'll read off one of the first questions we have here from Andy. It's, in a world where celebs like Chris Evans, with all his star power, is doing something similar, what is the differentiating factor for politicking? Is it the cultural context? I think the answer is yes, but I'd love for you to talk to us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, thank you, Georgie, and thank you, Andy, for the question. I think there's a lot of different differentiators, to be honest. The first that I always love to tell people is that we are nonpartisan. I think a lot of celebrities and people laud the term nonpartisan, but aren't actually nonpartisan because everybody has their personal views, ideas, and agendas, right? And so with politicking, we're genuinely nonpartisan. And we've actually caught flack and feedback from different entities, large media entities, for featuring people with different mindsets on our platform. We do cater to Democrats, Republicans, independents, libertarians, the Green Party, etc. And so really you don't see that happening on other platforms because people are so polarized by the Democrat and Republican conversation. And we understand as millennials we're nuanced and we don't want to be boxed into that anymore. And a lot of us are cognizant that the two-party system is considered archaic. And so we don't want to be a part of that. We're on the precipice of a political revolution and we're leading that through politicking.
Absolutely. And I just saw a comment that says, or Vice President-elect Kamala Harris has endorsed politicking. So shout out to you guys. And I see that a note from Andy saying that the question was actually from the Innovation Group. So thank you so much, the Innovation Group, for that amazing question. And the next question that we have is, what are your plans to combat fake news? And we know how crazy that definitely is these days.
Yeah, thank you, Milad, for the question. So there's so much fake news. I think there's so much that politicking has to do in terms of creating algorithms to ensure these things are verified. And we have to make sure that we're pulling news from all different sources, right? And so we know that most news sources are very heavily partisan. And so what we try to do is ensure that we're feeding from all of the networks to ensure that we're getting some sort of a balance. But also it's just about fact checking. Fact checking what's going on in the debates, fact checking what kind of news is published, and ensuring before we even promote anything that we're sure that this is true. I'll give you an example. On Saturday, when we found out that President-elect Biden had actually won, we were a little apprehensive to post because not everyone was in agreement yet, right? There were certain news sites that were saying 264, some were saying 256, and we were like, we need to make sure this is right before we call it because we are trying to be an authority in politics and in the political sphere. So those are the sorts of things we verified from multiple sources before we were comfortable posting it and then moved on. And that's just the beginning of what we'll continue to do. And I think the second thing is accountability. When elected officials are saying things out of their mouth, we have to hold them accountable. And that's one of the things we pride ourselves at politicking for doing.
Thank you so much for all of the amazing work that you're doing over there at Politicking. And, we want this to continue. So guys, go download the app, be a part of the Politicking community, because it's so important to have our voices be heard or whole voices, right? Culture is essential to every human being. So why leave that out of your voting? You have to include that because it's a part of you. So thank you so much for the work that you're doing, Wen-kuni. We can't wait to see other developments that you have, and we're excited for the future of Politicking.
Thank you so much, Georgianne.
You're welcome. Alrighty, guys. We have two more amazing founders that are going to be pitching for us tonight. And up next, we have Natasha Green from We Intervene. And Natasha and I have been, roaming these New York City tech ecosystem for a long time. I think I met you at one of those very early New York Tech Meetups, if I'm not wrong. And it's just, been amazing to see the growth that you've had, especially with this, with We Intervene. And I know you kind of broke it down and rebuilt it. So I'd love for you to share with the audience what We Intervene is and who Natasha Green is. And I'm going to get off the stage to give you your time.
Yeah, absolutely. So you can see my screen, folks. Is that correct?
Yes, we can.
Okay, so I'm Natasha Green, call me Tasha. And historically, I was a dean of discipline at DeWitt Clinton High School in the Bronx. I was a math teacher. I have 3 master's degrees, so it's like I wanted to be a principal. I wanted to change the world. Computational chemistry and differential equations is fun. I'm a vendor from archery because I believe all Black and Brown students deserve opportunities. I'm also the founder and CEO of Reintervene, as you know. And so that being said, I am sort of also a techie founder, but not fully. I could create HTML sites from my Hidden Gems Archery, but we're here for today. What we're here for today is about Reintervene. The idea that non-academic data points is just as important as an academic data points. What how a child knows as it relates to ABC, 80, 90, 100, and also what how children feel and what they're connected to is the holistic point of view that we need to get across. So that being said, Reintervene, first thing someone sees is about the dashboard, right? The dashboard is going to be an aggregate of information that relates to engagement, that relates to currently what was shared, when was it shared, why was it shared, right? And as we work in partnership with our school partners, we determine that data, right? So this dashboard is going to be customizable. So how does data get here, right? First and foremost, we do a mapping and we do a discussion with our school partners. And we're saying, hey, we are not professing that we're going to have thousands of nonprofits and school providers in the back end. What are we saying is that we're going to work together with you to ensure that what you work with, who you work with, we will put it in the back end. And then you could basically not have to worry about your PDF or Google Forms. You will have it at you'll have it online at the touch of your fingertips. Case in point, academic enrichment. You want more info. After they're able to find out more info, this is what they have shared. We will map service providers. They could text this to a parent just so that they know they could get themselves a reminder. Because often as a dean of discipline or school counselors, you're dealing with a 1 to 200, 1 to 500 ratio. One person could only do so much. That is when you need to leverage technology to inform myself so you could see it. In 7 days, I will follow up. Great resource. And then you're able to text the youth action you providers. You could send a message to recipient. I believe art is great, right? As simple as that. Then you're able to share it. And so upon sharing it, it's then sent. And the important things of having this sent is that it will then show up into your phone. Okay, my phone was off. And then you could see, you could see the app. You could see the response from the school. That being said, we make sure we have all of this categorized. So when you look into your shares, you could see, oh, I saw this share from Tasha. Great. Not only are you able to see the share in a backlog sort of mechanism, you could follow up. And you could say, okay, I know I have to follow up with Tasha on this date. Great. You could search it. And let's say we just do this one right here. Like you could add comments to it. That's if they're not in your database and not in your back end. That's why we have a contact list here that will show you what you share with probably someone from ACS or another partner. You can mark this as done. They went. And so now this is marked done and it's in your backlog. The addition is then in your school dashboard because then now it increases the count. That being said, service providers are open to everyone. So school A, B, C, D will be able to see service providers, but resources and what you share internally is just as important as what's shared externally. So when you look at through all resources, you see that, oh, this is the resources that people shared. Okay, great. Okay, let's say my big ass. That's one of the, that's one of the resources, right? We also make you able to share that still wherever you are. So internal resources, and let's say I just want to email this. I could email this, enter the participant, Tasha, again, so you'll know that it's a different thing. And then you just send the email. Idealistically, you're not going to have to type all this information to folks. Like, we want it that it's a school-wide system that is used, because that's only where you're going to be able to say, oh, it looks like 70% of the folks needed mental health services, or 25% wanted academic enrichment. That being said, you'll see that this is sent to an individual, and it says, this is the resource. They could click on it. They tell them when we're going to follow up. You click on it, you're able to see it as a shared URL. And we plan on embedding images and making it more colorful. Absolutely. Lastly, with the school personnel, with the students, we do believe everything is centered around the child. And so what you're going to see, and this is the first rendition as I work on finding a user interface person and a designer, the first rendition is going to show you your resources and referrals log, your note and category. Like, we want to categorize, what is this? Is it for social, academics? Is it for enrichment, intervention? Because it goes back to data points. Like, how are we engaging? Why are we engaging? How are we supporting? Personal notes is basically, can I see it? Can my admin see it? Can the school community see it? Through our partnership with our pilot school in the South Bronx, we're finding out that, you know what, I want to tag Clarissa, Georgiana, and Andy. I don't want no one else to see it. We're working on that right now. And lastly, you'll see the shares and follow-ups on down below. One of the things that I'm really going through now with my developers in India, and I'm like an entry-level developer, right? I could pull from GitHub, I could do the landing page, but there's certain back-end MySQL database queries like I'm not strong in, and because the time is not of the essence, but it is, right? Because this is so important that her families want to know about food pantries, want to know about academic services. Like, we can't lose kids during COVID. It's just insanity. So that being said, we're working on two-way communication, and with that being able to be done, I'll be very solid and happy about the next step. So as I talk about the developers in India, I am doing a birthday campaign to raise some funds on Indiegogo. I share what it takes to get and use the developers. And so, like, this is built on the LAMP stack. Do I know the LAMP stack? Absolutely. I'm learning it simultaneously so I could do little bits and pieces. So, We Intervene is meant to be the inclusive non-data hub for folks. And then through data and metrics, we will inform the school community on the needs. And then we will use the data to make sure schools accumulate some money and funding and grants. So that is it. And I think one thing that was just like an ad hoc, and it's like over here to the right, the schools were like, hey, we want to add notes in your tool. I was like, don't you use Google Docs or SharePoint? Is that time?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Okay, that's time.
Thank you so much, Natasha. And as a past student at DeWitt Clinton, it is very a huge issue, especially in schools and the Bronx and schools in underserved neighborhoods. You do have like one counselor or one person managing 200, 300, 500 students, as you mentioned. So having this system is very essential. And I think, more than anything, it also tackles the school to prison pipeline, right? How can we have these interventions beforehand? How can we make sure that there's clear communications happening between the school, the parent, the teachers, like everyone is involved to making sure that students have a higher success rate long term. So, I see a few comments, everyone's like saying amazing, great job. And let me get down to the questions. We have a good amount of questions. How are you able to track success? Do you have specific KPIs that you're seeking to meet?
Yeah, absolutely. So the KPIs are going to be done in parallel with the schools. Currently, the pilot school, we have not onboarded them yet because the one feature that I need done is the response. Like if they text it, they're able to get a response of confirmed we received it. So the KPIs, one thing in particular, because I was speaking to someone at the New York City Schools data office, they was like, it would be great to know that, was this helpful? Like maybe 1, 2, 3, like 1, this was helpful. 2, we used it. 3, open-ended, and they'll just reply. And so that's one KPI we're looking at currently, because then that would be in alignment with the engagement needs of the school district as a whole. Other KPIs that schools are interested in is engagement of the staff. how many staff actually placed resources into the back end to be used by the school community itself, right? Like, let's break out of these silos of, I'm only going to keep this math information for myself, or this art funding grant for myself, versus this idea of how much was shared and who was the highly rated contributor, right? So we're still working on the different KPIs as it looks like for success for schools. And I'll definitely share more with y'all on that as we get there.
Awesome. So we have a comment from YouTube watcher Pixely Perfect that says Tasha is a fantastic human. And then for our last question is, what about parents who are not strong in English?
Yeah, absolutely. So what the developers and I are working on right now is the Google Translate API, and they're going to do two things. One, we're actually going to put a note and put something that people know that, this person speaks as non-English is the preferred language. And so the vision is to make sure that it's all about time, right? So if we could know that 20 parents need a Spanish-speaking person to connect with, we'll do that. Also, as it relates to English, like translating to different languages, the API will just change the English into the preferred language. And that's something that we're looking to do in phase 2.
Thank you. Thank you so much for this presentation, Natasha. It's great to see how much We Intervene has grown. Continue working hard. Guys, support her birthday campaign. December birthday, right?
December 4th, yeah.
December birthday too. I'm just like, I remember your birthday. Awesome. So guys, definitely check out We Intervene. Connect with Natasha. You saw all the amazing comments about her. She's been doing this for a long time, and definitely support We Intervene. And up next, definitely last but not least, we have Jannae from the Market Base. So Jannae is going to come up and talk to us all about what she is building.
Oh, okay. Let me back up. See, okay.
All right, share your screen.
I didn't hear that. What happened?
Oh, are you gonna share your screen just so I can make sure that it's good before?
Yeah, in a second. I'm gonna share. I was just gonna introduce myself a little bit.
Awesome. So I'll have my camera. Stage is yours, Jannae.
Okay. So hi everyone. My name is Jannae. I'm the co-founder and CEO of the Market Base. And we provide quality on-demand marketing teams to founders, usually startups, using a subscription business model. So we deliver these teams using our proprietary software, which allows a founder to sign up, start their campaign in less than 48 hours, and kind of eliminates, the hiring, firing process, and also that onboarding process. A lot of people ask, what's the difference between the Market Base and a freelancer or a contractor, platforms like Market Hire and Upwork give companies direct access to thousands of contractors to manage themselves. However, this comes at the expense of a cohesive strategy, development, consistency across channels, quality control, and time management. So with the Market Base, every single client is given an on-demand strategist and gives you that kind of one source of truth for all marketing discussions. And it's the crucial element of our partnership, allows us to kind of understand a founder's day-to-day need, which is super agile and changes every hour. And we can build a team that's pretty bespoke for you. So honestly, a lot of people don't really remember how managing marketing was done before this. So we break our teams down based on the stage of the business. So launch, grow, and scale, which allows us to serve enterprise clients. We're currently in private beta to ensure that experience is standardized across every user. So upon sign up, you know exactly what you're going to get, when you're going to get it. The business owner has the autonomy to use their marketing team, how they need them with as little or as much involvement as possible. I am going to share my screen now. Let's see if I can figure this out. And boom. All right. So
I'm not on the screen just yet. Okay, it's loading up now.
Okay.
All right, yeah, go ahead now.
All right, so this is the first screen that you're going to see. Upon sign up, we jump right in with years of, let's go next. There we go. So with years of combined experience, we've kind of been able to really cut through the noise and figure out what specific details we need from a business to run a specific campaign, what key elements are going to take a launch subscriber to a growth subscriber, a growth subscriber to scale or enterprise. So kind of gone are the days where you have generic hour-long screen shares with a freelancer or a digital marketing agency where, we review our media kit and you really just scroll through Instagram and text pictures to your mom of the dog. So you can take 10 minutes. Once you choose your project manager, you can take 10 minutes to fill out our marketing assessment. And we'll assign a strategist based on these answers to analyze your current marketing efforts, build a preliminary strategy to meet your campaign goals, and then together we'll walk you through your custom recommendations and make adjustments based on your feedback. So if you like what you see, your project manager selects the best team. We onboard any additional team members from your organization, and we get right to work. And this entire process happens in real time. So your campaign usually starts within 24 hours. So campaigns, once we have those details and your brand profile set up, we select one campaign to focus on. And, something that I know is super hard for entrepreneurs, but it's truly necessary when we're trying to hit and measure KPIs on what works and what doesn't. And also, for me and my team, when it comes to our sanity, this is just the most important step. So based on that goal, you can select team services that you like, or we can take care of that for you. Describe your campaign, choose your services, and here's the dashboard. So this is pretty much the base of marketing operations, aka your market base. Your team is here, your requests, what's coming up, your analytics. So as I said before, no matter what stage of business that you're in or who's using the software from your team, whether it's the owner, a VA, a marketing director at a Fortune 500 company, your marketing is in one single epicenter, and every process is streamlined and there's full transparency as to what's going on. So also requests. There are some subscribers or business owners, that want to take the lead, and our request model seems to kind of hit all the right spots for the control freak that lives in most entrepreneurs. So while we're working on campaigns, they can continue to make requests. Maybe there's a sale coming up. Maybe the election takes 5 days and you want to add a post to your content calendar. Maybe even your business got rained out and you're closing for 48 hours and need to send an email or post it on Instagram. We know startups and founders need small tasks like this every day to supplement their marketing campaigns, and this allows that. So let's say Jannae has a demo at New York Tech Alliance, and she wants to blast it to her email list to get them to show up. So she needs a copy and design for her email. She's just making a request, fill out the details, submit, and then boom, she'll get it back in 24 hours. Of course, it'll show in her queue how everything is going. Let me go back to everyone's favorite part about our service, the market base, is the unlimited design. So you're assigned a graphic designer to work on campaigns and service you however you may need. So today you may need an email for New York Tech Alliance. Tomorrow you need business cards for a panel event. Next week you need a pitch deck designed for a pitch competition, along with a t-shirt design so that you can pitch. And of course, you're going to receive these deliverables within 24 hours for revision or approval. So we have tons of different dashboards, like I said, to look over analytics, track everything that we're doing, and talk to your project manager and your team if need be. I'm going to stop the screen share. So, that's the market base. And, if there's any business owners here, then hopefully your future marketing department. But this version of our dashboard is actually set for release here in the next couple weeks. We're really excited to improve upon our MVP, which is currently being used for our beta clients. And guys, it's basic, like so basic, and we are far from basic. So I'm sure my time is up, but I hope you enjoyed the demo as much as I love showing it to you guys. And like Andy said, if you do have more questions, we can talk after this if you're interested.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jannae. I love that presentation because as a company that, we do branding and development and digital strategy services, we also want to expand and just like having the clarity. So I really loved how you had like design and content and paid. So just having that breakdown is very essential when you're trying to figure out, okay, how do I need to communicate? What assets do I need? Because everything is so jumbled up. So I see we have a question. Happy Veterans Day. Thank you for your service.
Thank you.
No problem.
Thank you for acknowledging that.
So my first quick question is in regards to like what made you see this need, right? Like you said, there's Upwork, Fiverr, there's so many different platforms, and like what made you realize like this was all needed to be kind of in one space and just a more efficient process for the business or the entrepreneur?
Yeah, I have been an entrepreneur since I was 14. I just have kind of lived and operated in this space. So I have the advantage of seeing the gaps. Also, even with consulting and marketing and any type of business that I work with other entrepreneurs, there's always this wealth gap and there's always this equity thing missing. And I'm not talking about racially. I'm just entrepreneurs don't have access to the things that they need. And they stay small businesses because of that. Like we don't scale up to an enterprise or a public company. And it's not because we don't have the tenacity or the passion or the skill set. It's literally because we don't have access to the tools that we need to get there, or funding, which is a huge thing. And so it came down to the point where me and my co-founders were servicing these the big guys with small projects and such. And that's not who we wanted to serve. We didn't relate. We were entrepreneurs and small business owners. So we had to figure out a way to set our skill set at a price point for the people who actually needed it, and not Nike, who was just releasing a new running shoe and just wanted us to make some designs and post on Instagram and do a launch of it. Like, no, where's the entrepreneur who woke up and said, I'm tired of my job, I hate my life, I want to do something I'm passionate about, and I want it to be something that I can do full time. And then they get in this race of just working until they give up because they don't understand what it really takes to get to the next level. So essentially that's where the market base kind of sparked, and we have just reiterated and iterated until we got here.
I love that. And that literally hits the nail on the head. Because starting and scaling are two different beasts. Like, I feel like a lot of people start, when it's time to scale, when people are trying to actually pay you money, but you're understaffed, it's a whole new beast. We have two questions here. How long has your program been up and running? Is the first question by Doreen.
So we are babies. We came up with the idea last June. We launched literally almost a year later to the date. And as you can see, we're re-releasing tech, every few months based on our beta. But we'll actually really launch in January. We're currently in beta.
January 2021, guys, look out for it. And then I see Andy says, I love this. New York Tech Alliance wants to be a beta tester. And then Ariani says, this is an interesting product. How do you source talent? Are you seeking for specific skills when sourcing?
Yeah, so we have a partnership to do this. And I can't really get into the details of that. But our testing and interview process is tremendously difficult because the type of minds that we're looking for, you definitely couldn't come to the market base as a digital marketer with only experience, getting a degree. That's not how we think, and that's not how we think about marketing. So it's really, the questions are creative. They're about innovation. They're about thinking outside the box. They're very situational. So I think that has helped us as far as talent and making sure that, our subscribers are successful with their campaigns, and then bringing some traditional sense just from the experiences that we have had with big brands.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And again, this is very important for everyone that's here, whether you're a startup or you're trying to scale. I think, using this platform is essential because as a, long-term entrepreneur myself, this week is when I found out the difference between email marketing and newsletters. Don't beat me up.
Oh,
But, you're trying to scale now. It's like, I'm gonna just send out a newsletter. Everything's newsletters, and now categorize. It's all fun and games. So it's time.
Don't worry, we can have a class after this.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jannae. And I think Andy is gonna come back up so we could close out with our final announcements. And before you start, Andy, I just wanted to read some of the statistics from the Face of a Founder report that I felt, it's really important to share, because so often we hear, okay, yeah, there's female founders are underserved, people of color founders are underserved, LGBTQ founders, like we hear all these groups and it's like, oh, they're underrepresented, they're underserved. But what does that truly mean? What are they lacking? What are they not getting? So I'm going to read off some of the statistics from the Face of a Founder report, and they surveyed 671 self-identifying Black women tech founders. 70% of these founders are solo entrepreneurs. And if you've ever participated in a pitch competition or accelerator, the first thing that they're asking, who's your team? What's your team? So that's already like a differentiation factor that gives you like a little bit less of a bar because you don't have this huge team. The second thing is that 18% of respondents brought in funding from their friends and family for an average of $36,000. That is so low compared to the average overall range of funding that folks will get. Here we have another statistics. Between 2009 and 2018, tech startups led by Black women raised $289 million to launch, build, and sustain their businesses. And that's actually only 0.06% of the $425 billion total in venture funding. So it might seem like a lot when I say, $289 million, but it's not anywhere compared to the real market. And then, Natasha mentioned that she had 3 master's degrees. So when you look at Black female founders, 39% have a bachelor's degree and 46% have a professional degree, including a master's, JD, MD, PhD. And the other industry, so I'll talk about the industries because a lot of you guys fit into these industries, is the largest industries for Black female founders include ed tech, retail and e-commerce tech, fintech, SaaS products, and health tech. So, this report is available if you just Google Face of a Founder report, or just go to Black Women Talk Tech or Talk Tech Association. But I think it's very essential that people read these reports and, get the data to back it up, to say why I am doing this, why this is important, and what does it really mean when we say underserved, because that could go under the radar. But when I say, 70% of these founders are only getting we're only getting 0.06, it makes a mark. It makes you think, what is the issue with the bigger ecosystem and why aren't these Black female founders being supported? So I'll hand it back to you, Andy. And yeah, everyone is back up here. So thank you all for being here. And I was so ecstatic and really grateful to be the host tonight to share all these facts and engage with you all.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Georgie, for hosting such an amazing event and doing such a great job as an MC. You always do an amazing job when you MC. I really love collaborating with you. And I just wanted to say thank you to every one of you founders. Fantastic program tonight. It's been one of my favorite programs that we put together in a long time. And it's just phenomenal. I mean, it's one of my favorite things to do as part of my job is to interact with the community, learn about all the products that are being created, meet the founders, see their successes, celebrate them, and help them with their asks, their needs, whatever they have to offer. Fantastic thing. My ask for the audience tonight is to share this event with as many people as possible. This is a tremendous video that we have now, and so we'll be sharing this out. The links are on YouTube, Facebook, on our website. Be sure to share this out. Fantastic evening tonight, and just look at this panel right now. It's just phenomenal. It's all from different parts doing all kinds of tech, doing such amazing work. So thank you all. Round of applause for each one of you. Thank you again, Georgie, for everything. Before we head out, I'm just gonna share my screen really quickly so that we can share the links for some of the things that Georgie was talking about. Let me see if I can get this to work right.
They're also throwing them into the AirMeet chat.
Yeah, I'll be sure to throw them into the chat. And it's loading and loading and loading. All right. So the Face of the Founder Summit is happening next Wednesday, so be sure to register. Take advantage of this amazing opportunity to learn more about Black Women Talk Tech, the Talk Tech Association. The summit will be phenomenal. There's so many things happening next week. I know that we're all competing for your time and attention. The Face of the Founders is happening next week. The day after this event, the office hours that Georgie mentioned, the applications are up until tomorrow. So definitely, if you are a Black woman founder and you could use some office hours, be sure to apply today at this link. The office hours are a lot of fun. I've gotten to mentor at a couple of them. They're just always a great time, and you meet such amazing people. The other founders, the other mentors, really, really fantastic, connections to be made. Other programs that are happening next week that are also diversity and inclusion, and then just tech in general. Lesbians Who Tech is having their summit. I know that there's a cost, but it's definitely a great group to connect with and a fantastic conference that they put together every time. Hit me up. I can send you the link. And then Tech Day is having a conference. I think it's next week. That was the talk I was preparing. So I will have a talk at Tech Day. I encourage you to check them out. Day, and they're usually New York, LA, London, and LA. They're doing it virtually this year. So also really great source of resources to check out. So all of these things, we'll put them in the chat. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. If you can, stick around, connect with the founders. There's networking in the lounge part, so take advantage of the virtual network. And until next month, thank you again. Such a wonderful night. Enjoy your evening, and good night.
Thank you.